Indiana News Desk is made possible in part by Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnerships with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber Internet Security Solutions and Voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger and Robertson Attorneys at Law, utilizing 75 years of experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana News Desk. At the urging of Indiana University, the Hillel Center canceled an appearance by the son of a Hamas co-founder who has been accused of Islamophobia.
This is somebody who is clearly a hate speaker, and it reveals the truth about Hillel as a large organization and its local chapter.
Hillel's event went on as planned, but with a substitute speaker. With upwards of 300,000 people expected to descend upon Bloomington for the eclipse, many are worried about disruptions to cellular service.
When you bring a lot of people into one area, they're all going to be fighting for that network.
Emergency management agencies are making contingency plans for the big event. And we look at how the state is trying to make up for a shortage of emergency medical service workers. We'll have these stories plus the latest news from across the state right now on Indiana News Desk. Welcome to Indiana News Desk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, Indiana University has once again found itself in the middle of a controversy regarding the cancellation of a speaker on campus. Now, earlier this week, the university urged the Jewish organization Hillel to postpone an event featuring controversial pro-Israel Palestinian activist Masab Hassan Youssef. While Youssef talks was ultimately canceled, both Hillel and pro-Palestine protesters went ahead with separate events Tuesday night. Ethan Sandwise has more.
Youssef is the son of a Hamas co-founder and a former informant for Israel. He speaks at universities on behalf of Israel and against the Hamas government in Gaza. But his statements on social media about Muslims have drawn accusations of Islamophobia. Youssef has tweeted that he considers pro-Palestine activists Nazis, and that he, quote, doesn't respect any individual who identifies as Muslim. Although Hillel canceled Youssef's event, pro-Palestine organizers went ahead with the scheduled protest on IU's campus Wednesday.
This is somebody who is clearly a hate speaker, and it reveals the truth about Hillel as a large organization and its local chapter.
But Rabbi Sue Hillenberg, executive director of the Hillel Foundation at IU, says she was surprised at the reaction. She says she hasn't seen Youssef's tweets, but believes they were taken out of context.
He talks about being a proud Palestinian. He wants to save his people. He is anti-Hamas because he sees them as a terrorist organization. And I think his message is inspiring.
Hillel held an alternative event with Betsy Borns, a television producer and president of the Jewish Studies program at IU. Bourne says that night's pro-Palestine protest represented a small minority of students, and she hopes things will calm down.
I think more than 95% of students don't care. They don't know about it, and it's not their problem. It's that they're here to get an education, and they don't care about the Jews or the Palestinians.
Silberberg and IU Associate Vice President for Events and Conferences Doug Boer told attendees that they looked forward to rescheduling Youssef in the fall. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Ethan Sandwise.
The university also came under fire for the cancellation of a planned art exhibit by Palestinian artist Samia Halabi last month. With a massive influx of people coming to Bloomington for next month's eclipse, some officials are concerned about possible impacts on cellular networks and communication lines on the day of the big event. Isabella Vesperini has this report.
Indiana University has been planning 3 years for the eclipse, and the estimated 300,000 people expected to come to Bloomington to watch it. And with that many people coming into town and traffic expected to be a nightmare, the Indiana State Police suggests opting in to receive its emergency text alerts.
We love instant communication. We know that that will be slowed down, so we want people to be patient.
You should expect to have a harder time communicating with your phone.
When you bring a lot of people into one area, they're all going to be fighting for that network.
Getz isn't concerned about the ability for police to communicate that day. Police will have a secondary network for radio communications in place and have given troopers new portable radios and a new radio system for their cars.
We've deployed people throughout our campuses and along the bypass and have anticipated that there could be communication issues. We do that for every large event, so that's not new for us. Emergency management at IU plans and prepares for that.
But Bloomington Police Department Captain Ryan Pettigo anticipates there will be difficulties using the statewide radio system due to a large amount of traffic that is expected for the eclipse. If the statewide 800 megahertz radio system is overloaded with too many communications at one time, police would get a busy bump. This means that the system is so busy that police cannot communicate by radio. The Monroe County Emergency Management Agency and Indiana State Parks also expect limited cell and internet service due to increased use. But neither Verizon nor AT&T expect the large influx of people to impact their networks. Both say they have significantly increased the capacity of their 5G networks since the last eclipse. And neither said they experienced difficulties on their network during the last eclipse in 2017. But this year's eclipse will cover a much wider swath of the country than in 2017. About 12 million people were in the path of totality then. This year, about 31.5 million people are in line to see the eclipse. Indiana University doesn't expect people on campus will experience any slowdowns on its Wi-Fi networks, such as EduRoam and IU Guest. Since IU classes are canceled the day of the eclipse, fewer people will be using the Wi-Fi anyway.
We don't really see this as a major event, unlike what we would normally have with graduation or a football game. You take one of the days of the first week of classes at IU, we'll see over 220,000 unique devices on the network on one of those days.
If people are outside of IU buildings and not connect to one of IU's Wi-Fi networks, Spencer says it might take longer for videos and websites to load on the internet on cell phones, especially in places like the football stadium where many people will be gathered.
For the stadium itself, we actually do have a contractor that provides coverage for cell service in that facility.
Calling and texting shouldn't be affected.
Just last fall, they did a significant upgrade that increased capacity and bandwidth relative to what was there before. So that's already in place and should be ready to go when the big event happens.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Isabella Vesperini.
During the last total eclipse in 2017, AT&T reported data usage increased by 25% and total SMS records increased 40% in the 24 hours surrounding the eclipse. City leaders across the state are gearing up for the eclipse. Officials in Bloomington, Columbus, and Terre Haute are planning on large influxes of people, and finding an event like this is not only rare, but challenging. South Central Indiana is in the path of totality, expecting to draw thousands of people. Cities and towns are eager to cash in, offering festivals, concerts, and other events. But it's not like a typical football or graduation weekend in Bloomington.
Our police force will be all hands on deck starting April 6th through the eclipse, with 50-plus officers working. Our fire department will also add 12 additional personnel for those days.
Thompson says city facilities, including City Hall, will be closed while employees work remotely. Nashville officials are expecting tourists like a busy fall weekend, but doubled.
The hotels, the Airbnbs, they're all booked. The state park's all booked. Wow. So we're excited to show off our town, but it's a lot all at once.
She says tourist estimates range from 60,000 up to 250,000 countywide. So emergency management, police, fire, even businesses and residents are meeting on how to organize accommodations.
The town did purchase or rented some extra porta pots for that week-long event. Trash is going to be another big issue, so we've got extra trash facilities coming in.
Homeland Security officials say Columbus could handle twice its population, so they're planning for anywhere between 5,000 and 100,000 people.
You pull out the disaster and the emergency plans that you have, and we made the decision, I think late last year, that we were not allowing any city employees to take off that day.
She says businesses and hotels are being encouraged to prepare for large crowds, while the city will focus on safety and logistics.
I think it was August, we put in an order for 200 porta potties, and they're coming from the northern part of the state that isn't being affected by the eclipse. Terre Haute is not in the direct path of totality, but will still experience most of the eclipse.
We are banking on 30 to 50,000. That being said, it changes. I mean, if it's cloudy in Vincennes or Bloomington even, we expect to see some more traffic here. So we're staying flexible.
He says they've studied law enforcement and government after-action reviews from other eclipses in Kentucky to guide their local plan. Now, officials advise you to fill gas tanks ahead of time, stock medications, and not count on mail delivery so you can enjoy the celestial phenomenon. Actor William Shatner is headlining Indiana University's Hoosier Cosmic Celebration. He's speaking at Memorial Stadium ahead of the total solar eclipse April 8th. Now, aside from Shatner's iconic role as Captain Kirk in the Star Trek universe, he's also the oldest man to go to space.
The eclipse should bring about all of us thinking about the mystery of existence and the beauty of the fact that we live and are able to observe it from this little outpost, a rocky outpost called Earth.
Singer Janelle Monáe will be performing a concert at the stadium immediately after the eclipse. Tickets for the Hoosier Cosmic Celebration are on sale now. Well, when the Shadowfest Eclipse event was canceled last month, Spence Taylor saw an opportunity. Taylor had been tasked with providing the musical lineup for the festival, which was planned for April 6th through the 8th at the Monroe County Fairgrounds. But with that event canceled, he and Katie Taylor put together the Shine on Music Fest in Spencer.
It's really cool to have the opportunity to kind of reclaim the opportunity for the bands and the production crews and kind of move that over to Stable Studios, which is locally owned and family owned.
Shine On will run April 6th to the 8th and have live music. There are RV and tent campsites, free parking, a community campfire, a movie night, and more. Coming up next on Indiana News Desk. Indiana officials are trying to solve the problem of not enough emergency medical services workers in the state. And among the Lilly Library's massive collection of books are some so tiny they can't be read with the naked eye. These stories and more right here on Indiana News Desk.
Ready? I am, but I'm not sure you are.
Things are starting to look up.
This could be huge. I'm trying to seek redemption.
Let's do it with our heads held high.
What was that?
Could be nothing, could be everything.
Things are definitely starting to look up.
The way humans make sense of the world is through stories.
We've got to go ahead and start training to go to Mars.
And liftoff.
We pay tribute to all who serve and who have served.
Civilization is precious. Life is precious.
Artists here are making a difference.
I'm trying to seek redemption.
Welcome back to Indiana News Desk. We're joined again by Callie Lichter for more headlines from around the state. Hi, Callie.
Hi, Joe. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita presented a report at a political rally that he says proves the state used faulty data to justify the stay-at-home order at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, as Indiana Public Broadcasting's Abigail Ruman reports, experts warn Rokita's claims lack context.
The report focuses on what Rokita claims are inaccurate COVID death counts and positivity rates, and how they were used to inform public policy decisions. The Regenstrief Institute worked with public health and healthcare agencies to gather and communicate data in the early days of the pandemic.
There were people who were dying of a mysterious respiratory illness, and we didn't know it was COVID-19.
Brian Dixon is the director of public health informatics at Regenstrief. He says there were in-depth discussions around those public policy decisions and what data should be considered.
We're looking at patterns of data and whether rates are increasing or decreasing when we're trying to make decisions. And those decisions are being made looking at multiple indicators, not just a single thing.
Dixon says data can be messy, but Rakita's report doesn't paint a complete picture of the data or how it was used.
What we tended to focus on from a public health perspective in terms of monitoring disease was really the rate of change. So if your positivity is going up, week to week, then that means generally that disease is spreading.
For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Abigail Ruman.
Bloomington City Council members rejected an ordinance to establish a historic designation for Lower Cascades Park Wednesday night. The designation would have required input from the city's Historic Preservation Commission for certain changes to the park.
An executive could make a decision to tear down one of the buildings or to destroy a wishing well. And the idea is that this designation would prevent that from happening.
It's the culmination of a months-long resident-led effort to get a historic protection for the park after former Mayor John Hamilton announced plans to close Old State Road 37 to drivers and convert it to a multi-use trail. The plan never materialized, but the city's transportation plan calls for a multi-use path connecting Lower Cascades to other city parks.
We heard from a variety of folks, including folks who've served on HPC in the past, that the motivation was to keep the road open to cars. And again, it's really just not the right tool for that.
Mayor Carrie Thompson has said she hasn't decided to plan for Lower Cascades. City officials want to remove County Residents Against Annexation, Inc. as a party in the case against annexation of areas 1A and 1B on Bloomington's southwest side. The city argues that only property owners within the annexation area have standing in remonstrance proceedings, and the CRAA doesn't have direct membership or interest in the areas. The challenge specifically mentions CRAA President Margaret Clements, who doesn't own land in Area 1A or 1B.
It is ridiculous to assume that each individual, over thousands and thousands of people, would be able to do this on their own. So it required some organization, some communication, some information, some education, and some representation.
A hearing is set for Monday at 8 a.m. The case is scheduled for a 5-day bench trial April 29th. The Indiana Graduate Workers Union is proposing a 3-day strike next month. If authorized, the strike would fall on IU Day, April 17th, which the campus is packed with visitors. The Graduate Workers Union last went on strike in 2022. Last month, the group voted no confidence in IU President Pamela Whitten after they requested higher pay and union recognition, but didn't get either. A cement facility in Mitchell has been awarded up to $500 million to capture, treat, prepare, or for storage or use approximately 2 million tons of CO2 it produces each year. The Heidelberg Materials Plant is one of the biggest recipients of funding from a U.S. Department of Energy project to reduce industrial greenhouse gas emissions. The facility was renovated in 2023 and is the second largest cement operation in the country.
It's going to become the most sustainable operation in the history of the world in terms of building cement, which is the foundation for so many projects, as I mentioned earlier. And to be able to capture and store is really turning a corner and proving that it can be done.
Heidelberg representatives say it plans to capture 95% of CO2 emissions at Mitchell's cement plant and store them in an onshore reservoir in the Illinois basin by 2030. The first draft of state's plans for new graduation requirements was released this week. It creates 2 new diplomas, the Indiana GPS and Indiana GPS Plus. GPS stands for Graduates Prepared to Succeed. Subjects like math, science, and English would still be required, but students would also need to show college and career readiness by attending job fairs, taking a career aptitude test, or having a job. And Joe, the state plans to switch to the new diplomas in 2029.
All right, Callie, thank you so much. Well, state officials are sounding the alarm on a rising need for emergency service workers as call volume escalated from 2019 to 2022. The issue is multifaceted, but as Benta Boutier reports, the Indiana Department of Homeland Security hopes increased support through education will bridge workforce gaps.
You want the parts that go in your ear facing forward.
It's a Thursday morning at Ivy Tech Bloomington. About 10 students gather around a couple of tables and review how to check someone's vitals.
If you say 70,
about 81.
I have no idea.
Part of an emergency medical technician course, they'll take a test with Ivy Tech. If they pass, they can take a national exam. If numbers track with last year, they'll be among approximately 15,000 people who receive some type of EMS training and certificate in Indiana, including those renewing a license. But Keith Rademacher says that's not enough. Last year, there were more than 1.2 million EMS incidents in the state, and most people with EMS certification don't work in an ambulance. Rademacher has worked as a paramedic for decades and provides training at Ivy Tech. He says the need isn't new, but has become apparent with rising call volume in rural healthcare deserts.
The shortages are causing ambulances to go unstaffed or understaffed every day.
He says if the shortage continues, people will go without service for longer, waiting for an ambulance to be available.
What it really costs is time. Instead of a 5-minute response time, you may be looking at 20, 30 or longer.
Craig Kinney says the number of people getting certifications has remained stable over the years, but call volume increased by more than 30% between 2019 and 2022.
EMS has existed since the 1970s, and frankly, it existed and people just take it for granted. I'm going to call 911, I will get an ambulance.
He says turnover is higher in the profession now. People don't renew their certifications after 5 or 6 years. Wages and high stress, ambulance run reimbursement, and access to training have taken a toll. But now is an exciting time for EMS, Kinney says. It restructured last year at the state level and is now its own division under the Department of Homeland Security.
We get recognized by the legislature. We are closer with the governor's office.
And the state allocated $6.4 million for 2 years as part of the governor's Public Health Commission, which is something Kinney says it's never had before. One area of focus is tracking workforce data on EMS training and EMS incidents. The other is lowering barriers to certification through workforce readiness grants, about $1.4 million allocated for 2024 to covering student EMS coursework.
There are deserts where you can have 5 or 6 counties that adjoin that may not have any training that's provided, particularly at the paramedic level. A little more common at the EMT level, but there are still many counties that don't have EMT training.
Per the 2023 EMS Workforce Assessment, 61 of Indiana's 92 counties provide training. And the state EMS office is allocating another $1.5 million for equipment grants that training programs can apply for, with a preference to programs in rural areas. In the last 3 years, Ivy Tech Bloomington graduated around 230 EMTs and 30 paramedics. It has expanded its training out to 5 surrounding counties. Carly Wyatt says the funding for EMS education from the state is helpful in recruiting.
Students don't have to go into debt, and they can continue to get their education paid for. I think that that's a huge benefit, and it's a huge help to us in promoting our program.
For Indiana News Desk, I'm Benta Boutier.
And Indiana University's Lilly Library is home to about 450,000 books, 8.5 million manuscripts, and 35,000 puzzles. But as our Grace Morocco reports, the library also has a large collection of books, some of which are too small to read with the naked eye.
The Lilly Library at Indiana University has 16,000 miniature books, certainly not a tiny collection. Some of the books are so small that you need a pair of tweezers to pick them up. But the library's curator of religious content, Sarah McElroy Mitchell, has no problem picking up the tiny tomes.
This is one of my favorites that we have.
The books were donated by Ruth E. Adamite, an Ohio school teacher in the early 90s. She collected them from all over the world.
Everywhere she went, she would learn the phrase for tiny books, and she would go with just about anyone who was like, I know where the tiny books are. She would just go with them.
It's a rare collection that dates back centuries.
Ruth began collecting in the 1950s, and so even though a lot of the items are much older than that, she was collecting up till her death in 1996.
This copy of an almanac has print so small it requires a magnifying glass.
This one is black and gold and red, and it's very beautiful.
Some of the books are religious and easy to keep in a pocket. Others are made for plain fun.
Really, there are a lot of people who are just trying to push the boundaries of what can be done.
But why stop at tiny? What about microscopic? The words are so tiny the naked eye can barely see them.
They're not all intended to be read, especially some of the absolute tiniest ones. There's no way you could comfortably read them without absolutely destroying the object.
According to Adamite, miniature literature is any book 2.5 inches or less. So whether it's Shakespeare or Edgar Allan Poe, you'll need a strong pair of glasses to curl up with these books. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Grace Morocco.
That's the end of our program. Our work continues online at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana News Desk is made possible in part by Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnerships with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. Smithville Fiber Internet Security Solutions and Voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Bunger and Robertson Attorneys at Law, utilizing 75 years of experience, knowledge, and resources to help individuals and families recover in personal injury matters. Information at lawbr.com. And by WTIU members. Thank you.